Here, how do humans affect the water cycle?
And we're going to be doing this by completing a multi-flow method. Today we worked on creating those posters of the water cycle. Well, today we're going to zoom in and we're going to read a text, and that's the text you have in front of you, about what happens, what are some of the causes, and what are some of the effects when pollution gets in our water, and what causes our water to get polluted. So follow along as we read. We're going to start at the top, read all the way from the bottom, and then read the text next to it. And then we'll take 3 steps and we will start identifying cause and effect. We'll work in groups, and then you'll independently be writing. Pollution in the well. The water cycle helps keep Earth's water clean. As water evaporates, minerals, chemicals, and dirt are left behind. As we're annotating or we're taking notes, we're going to use a highlighter and a pencil, and we're going to be thinking, is this a cause of the polluted water? And then we'll use this sentence frame. Blank is a cause of polluted water because, and then the second part is this an effect from the polluted water? So is this causing water to be polluted, or is something happening because we have polluted water? So you can help me identify, help me highlight a cause or an effect of polluted water. And can you read it as you're highlighting it?
Pollution in the atmosphere from cars and that.
No, it doesn't let you get that close to the edge sometimes.
Just, yeah.
And factories mixes with the water vapor in the air.
And then we're going to take our pencil and we are going to write down a C for cause.
C for cause. So when I'm going back into my text later, I can remember the C is for cause. So pollution in the atmosphere from cars and factories mixes with water vapor in the air. So because of the cars and the factories, this pollution is getting into the water vapor in the air.
So what I want you to do is talk with your people next to you, and I want you to tell your partner, blank is an effect of the polluted water because.
Using the text evidence, what is an effect of the polluted water?
Looking in the text.
I agree with what you said. Just got to find it in the text. So what is the effect? What happens because our water is dirty? Looking at this, correct 10.
What is an effect of polluted water? So what happens?
Many species, across. So what is that telling me? It says water pollution threatens the health of many species.
As I was listening into conversations, I had a couple questions like, what is industry? What is, pesticides? What do those words mean? Well,
Omar, can you share what we talked about when we said if we spray things in our backyard and it rains, what happens to all those things? It leaves them behind, but where could it go? So it could seep into that groundwater, into that collection phase. Good. Monir?
Bleach and oil
Exactly. So Monir said bleach and oil and garbage, all of these things can affect our water because when it rains, it can seep into the ground, like Omar said.
imagine this. If you have nice clean water, as the first paragraph has talked about, as our pictures have shown, we've got lakes, we have that water kind of coming up into the atmosphere. Well, now imagine that same river or that same pond has your laundry soap in it, or has chemicals from a factory, or has the pesticides that maybe you sprayed on plants so that bugs wouldn't eat them. Would you want to drink that water? No. So we have to think about now, is this a cause of water being polluted, or is it an effect?
What does that mean? More and more waste from industry. Turn and talk to your partner. What is waste from, what does it mean, more and more waste? Turn and talk to people around you.
Waste
So what could be waste from, it says, from a house? What could be waste from a home? What could be something that okay, garbage, yes. Food that I'm going to eat or food that I might have already eaten. Okay, so like extra food. And then it says chemicals such as pesticides, pesticides. Something that you kill bugs with, so like if you get something in your backyard or in your house, you have to kill those bugs and you kill it with a pesticide. So all those chemicals that we're putting in our yard, and it gets, and then when it rains, it says the runoff. Exactly. So all of these polluted water, a sentence in the article that explains what effect from polluted water is. Omar, can you go up to the front of the room and show us, please, where your sentence is?
Water pollution treats the health of many species of beavers across the planet.
Can you highlight that?
How would you mark that? Would that be cause or effect?
So is that
effect?
okay?
Because the sickness of it.
Exactly. Good.
The animals are like.
Very
So make
good.
sure you mark it. We want to annotate by putting an E for effect. Cross, come on up.
So because our water is getting polluted, this is what is happening. These are our effects. Because the water
Just do one.
pollution, this is what is happening.
Read it as you're highlighting.
So as more water becomes polluted, there is less clean water available.
And how would you mark that cross?
C or E? Cause or effect? E. It's because our water is polluted, there's less clean water available, so it's an effect. Anybody else have another one? Good.
Okay, so let's go to the bottom one. So does this cause our water to be polluted? Garbage in the water, does that cause it to be polluted?
Yes.
Yes, so I can mark that with what? Thank you, Nina. How can I mark this, everybody?
C.
There we go.
Effect. Good.
Because it's telling us pollution water makes animals sick, and then when it mixes with other clean water, it turns into acid.
Exactly.
Now what we're gonna do is we've done step one.
We look through the text.
We've used the text, and now we're going to go to step two, which we are going to work together in the same groups that you worked in yesterday,
Your table group.
your table groups. You're gonna discuss the causes and effects of polluted water. And then our third thing, you are doing that together because our third thing is gonna be independent work. That means by yourself work.
Everybody's going to have their own paper. It says causes, you have room for 2. Effects, you have room for 4.
Can you go back on that?
Always can go back in the text.
If you are in fact, we want you to use your text evidence to complete.
Because we've already annotated it with causes and effects. So now I'm going through and picking out some causes and some effects from the text.
So our goal at the end of this is to be able to write by yourself, write independently some of the causes and effects of pollution on our water. So you're working right now, you're gonna work as a team to get most of your ideas so that when you go back by yourself, you know how to write a paragraph explaining some of the causes and effects of pollution on our water.
Any questions?
The water gets polluted because if you look at this picture, you see what's happening here. What happens to the water that goes up here into the cloud? And then what happens after it goes into the clouds?
It rains.
It rains. But so when this water is polluted, it's dirty. Guess what? That dirty water, what happens to this water? It goes where?
They go to the ground.
And then what?
It rains.
And so if that water is polluted, that becomes acid rain. So that's like polluted water that's falling down.
dirty water.
It's dirty water. So is that a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. So that's why our water,
If I drink dirty water, then I'll be sick already.
right. And so some of what we're saying is when people have chemicals, put chemicals in the ground, when people, like with their cars and with factories cause the air to get polluted, then these things happen. So what's the problem here? What did it tell us?
Yes, it is.
People are dumping garbage into their rooms.
What have there been examples of happening when we have garbage being dumped? What does that cause? Yeah, it gets dirty. And what do we call that word if it's dirty and we can't drink it? What'd you say, Michelle?
Unfresh.
Okay, unfresh. What's another word we've been using?
Polluted.
Polluted. Would you agree with that word? Polluted. So can you tell me in a sentence what we were just discussing? Because you have good evidence. I just want you to talk to me about it.
When people throw trash in the water, it makes the water polluted and
Okay, so can we add some of those details? Good job, Isabella. I was just stretching your brain, all right? I took a lot.
This is your independent writing for today. So you have your text, you have your multi-flow map. You're gonna take everything that we learned today about dirty water and you're gonna put it together to answer this question.
So the question is, what if you saw a company throw trash into Percy Priest Lake? What would you say to the company to help them understand how they are affecting the water cycle? Use evidence from the text to support your response. So what are you going to tell them? Knowing what we've just learned, we become expert in your journal, in your reading response journal, and you're going to use text evidence just like we used on our multi-flow map.
So what would you tell them if you saw them dumping trash? How would you explain to them how they're hurting the water cycle?
Your paper, what have we learned so far now?
we have learned that people get sick
Why do they get sick?
because they weren't dirty.
Okay, so if it says, what if you saw a company throw trash into the Percy Priest Lake? That'd be a good thing or a bad thing? Okay, so what would you say to the company to help them understand how they're affecting the water cycle? So what would we tell this company? See them throwing trash into the lake. Do you want to tell them to keep throwing the trash in the lake? Or, so how do we want to say that?
That they need to stop
Okay.
throwing trash.
So how can I start that sentence? What happens to it?
It gives acid water.
And instead of acid water, what do we call it? Acid what? Can you point to the picture that you're talking about?
Acid.
Do you see those water drops in the picture? Acid rain.